Greetings and welcome to the third Bobzee Hour. I'd like to start by saying hello to Nathan Oakley and Midnight Scribbler in the live chat. Midnight says, good show today, Nathan. That guy looked like he was taking crap all the way through the conspiracy lit room. Yeah, Nathan, I caught most of your show tonight. I am a regular, I do regularly tune into your daily live streams, but for some reason I cannot comment in your live chat, so you're very good, always giving us a hello in the chat, and I'm not able to repay it, but I do tune in with my other channel, Chronicles of the Unconvinced, so I'm certainly watching. Right, I'm just going to take this opportunity to check the audio is playing back alright. Yeah, it seems to be working okay. Right, we're going to get started with, I'm going to actually catch up with something I haven't done for a long time, is upload a pre-recorded video to this stream, to this channel, Bobzee Hour. I put most of my pre-edited stuff on my second channel, but for once I actually found content that moved me enough to actually want to make a video about it. I'll just find my YouTube, I'll find the video we're referring to, and I wanted to follow up on the story actually. Yeah, and I actually also put a short out on this channel, so I've got a couple of vids out lately, and I want to address one of the comments on there, or just to follow up with it actually. Right, I'm just going to share my screen now. Let's see, I'll take that audio. Right, yeah, I called it Instagram Liars Unite, referencing two people that play a massive part on YouTube. Actually on Instagram, although they do also have YouTube channels, and they're definitely over on Twitter as well. And it's about Jake Quickenden and Ashley Kane, and they talk about grief. Now, I imagine most of us, unfortunately, have had to suffer grief at one time or another, and let me tell you, these people, this is almost like manufactured grief, where they're doing it all in front of a promotional bottle of Huel, and they're doing it with the promotional microphone cover, made sure it's definitely in the shot of every single video. Yeah, these are just adverts. And if you want us to believe that these two gentlemen spill their hearts on this podcast in front of all this promotion, then it's definitely not as things are. Yeah, this guy Ashley Kane, who you're unfortunate enough to see on the screen now, he took part in a horrific, like, fingers down your throat, vomit-inducing story, which of course they plastered every second of it on Instagram, because that's what you do when you've got a child fighting for its life. You use that as an opportunity to boost your profile, and right next to pictures of your dying child, you put a promotion for your latest brand of sportswear that have decided to pay you. Yeah, this is 100% not reality. So yeah, that was one thing I wanted to follow up on. If you've seen it, then great. If not, then yeah, just check out my channel. This video is up there. Mudlark says, and I have to agree with this, actually, I thought about it afterwards. Let's see if I can make the comments any bigger. Perhaps he meant that he never wants the fraud me donations to go away. And yeah, I thought about it. Perhaps Mudlark's correct. Perhaps when this guy says, which is a bizarrest thing, any experience you might have had with grief, it's just something you want. You know, it's, yeah, difficult. You don't want it. It's not something you want to keep. And to hear this guy say it's the most important thing in his life, well, then it makes sense if you're talking in the sense of his presentation of grief is the most important thing in his life. Absolutely, Ashley. You just aren't telling us that it's all a manufacturer. And why would you, when they've managed to donate so much, not only money, but people donating baby bits? Absolutely disgusting, Valve's story. But unfortunately, that is the content we're dealing with, where people will... I gotta say, I approach mainstream news where all this stuff gets handed to us without question. And I thought back to when I was a kid and I watched my mum. She would watch the news and it was generally just believed. I mean, it was never made clear quite why we put our trust in the people reading the news, often with product placements stuck left, right and centre, but for some reason they're trusted. Well, for this stream, for me, is my opportunity to look at mainstream media without the trust, strip that bit away and see what we're left with. And in this story, I think it is garbage all the way. Another video I made, excuse me, I just give a little plug for the last couple of uploads. I also did a short about hijacking the rainbow. Again, this was taken from, I think it might have been taken from the second Bobzee stream. Sorry if the audio's coming through. Let me just check that. Oh no, we're muted, that's alright. And I will say, I came across this guy, David Vance, on Twitter, and he says a lot of the right stuff, but not in huge detail. But, well, okay. I'll leave you to form your own judgment on David Vance. I've never listened to any of his podcasts or watched any of his actual videos, just seen him on Twitter. And he covered the church that painted the rainbow, painted their steps rainbow. Apparently they were approached by a woman confronted painting church steps rainbow. Now the point of the shorts video was that I'm pointing out that when the LGBTQP whatever and all the rest of the alphabet characters they want to use, when they use the rainbow, they are actually hijacking God's covenant with man. And it's linked in that no matter, obviously this, well, if you're not familiar with the story of Noah's Ark, then I would direct you to Genesis. We do look at it in the short. Let's see, we'll let it play through. Where, God clearly says, after deluging the earth due to its kind of vile nature, all flesh being corrupted, afterwards he then gives us the rainbow, which is a sign that never again will I deluge you. Now, the fact that LGBT, people that celebrate their drawing away from the word of God, it's actually celebrated. They have parades to celebrate such occurrences I think they get a whole month in the summer, don't they? This story, let's see if I can get it into a more readable format. An elderly Christian woman has been forced to defend her faith after being confronted for painting a Sydney church steps a rainbow colour. And I'm not sure what these images have got to do with anything. Just some woman in a hospital bed, fair enough. Advert for Audi. An elderly Christian woman. Do you know what? Because I've formatted this page to be readable, I think they've just taken all the images and squeezed them together, whether they were adverts or related to a different story or another link. So that explains that. By the way, I'm just looking in the live chat. Midnight Scribbler, thanks for the very kind words. You think, Shadow Banner's a bitch. If that's what's happened, who knows? To be honest, this isn't a popular subject. People don't want to approach stories about, and even for 1 second, question the guy talking passionately about the passing of his baby and how important that grief is to him, whilst wearing a product placement t-shirt, then they wouldn't yeah, it's just not a subject people even want to look at, because it's pretty vile. But for me, this is my place to outpour my distrust and dislike of the mainstream media. I appreciate those of you who take the time to tune in, and yeah, thank you. But it's, I mean, if I don't appeal to a huge audience, then at least I'm getting it off my chest. So it is, at least, at the very least, a therapeutic place to outpour. So I'm not driving family members crazy by talking, you know, keeping on at them about it. I bring it here to my YouTube channel. So yeah, thanks for taking the time to check out the stream, Midnight Scribbler. I think you're pretty great too. Right, and so here we go. The woman, along with other congregation members, were filmed painting the staircase of the Uniting Church in Sydney. We will watch the video in a minute, in the lead up to Saturday's Mardi Gras. Now, is Mardi Gras a gay festival? I didn't realise that. I mean, it's been going on for a lot longer than Pride festivals, unless that's just their latest branding of it. Some people love an opportunity to group together and walk down a high street. Doesn't do much for me, especially as they generally take place on the day of rest. Absolutely disregard the Sabbath day and have our protests or have our meetings, or whatever they want to do. Right, so in a video of the exchange posted to social media that runs the Facebook page Christian Lives Matter, well, good bit of promotion for this particular Facebook page. See, I don't think you'll ever see a post by news.com/Australia where they talk about posted to the Bobzee channel. You'll never see it, but I'm okay with that. I'm grateful that at least it's reached out to you, Midnight Scribbler, and anyone else that's tuned in. Right, it's unclear whether the man behind the camera... Okay. Right, we're just reading it. We could be watching it. Let me go back to that. Here we go. We've got some screenshots of her. If you ask me, bit staged for the camera. I'm sure the dialogue between the two. If judge for yourself, because we will watch it, but it doesn't strike me as particularly like an authentic conversation between two people that have never met. It's almost like something at a, you know, an amateur dramatics group or even a professional dramatics group might have put together. Right, we'll watch the video. Midnight, you chuffed Nathan mentioned me. Yeah, so am I, because it has brought a, you know, it's brought through a fair few new people. So I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Right, video. Here we go. This is the source is Charlie Backhouse via Instagram. Oh.
Are you? Is this Christian? And what are y'all doing here?
We're painting the rainbow on the steps.
Just want to check you can hear that. And it's playing back alright for you. If you didn't hear it, she said we're painting the steps. Let's see, 1 minute. Yeah, it seems like you're getting the audio. Sorry if it's a bit quiet or a bit muffled. Right. If there's subtitles, I'll try and put them on.
Is that a church?
Yes, it is a church.
What kind
Oh, goodness sakes.
of a church?
It's the Uniting Church.
And you're doing this?
Of course we are.
Is God for this?
Absolutely. God is for love, for welcome, for hospitality. God is very positive towards this.
God is for...
We feel that.
Is God for same-sex?
She's blatantly she obviously identifies as part of the community that have hijacked the flag, no doubt about it.
Marriage?
Absolutely. God is for love.
Where's that in the Bible? Oh, you don't know?
But I do know that it says...
Oh, It's a shame, unfortunately, I can't take a screenshot. Well, I can, but I want to get a picture of her ear. It's the strangest looking ear you've ever seen. I do have a thing about ears, so especially when very often on mainstream you see the most peculiar looking earlobes, and it always catches my attention. So I'm going to try and get a screen grab of her.
God is love.
God is love? Of course he is.
Oh, we missed it. Hang on. Let me go back to that.
But I do know that it says
I think I got
God
it.
is
Almost looks like an
God
earlobe
is love?
hanging on.
Of course he is.
Okay, and this is the second part of the video where they paint over it in silver or grey, whatever that is. So that is the actual video which we were referring to. Now, personally, I think probably a staged conversation. But yeah, you'll have to judge that one for yourselves. Right, Jeff Gashead, good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got a couple of things we're going to look at. We're going to move on from my little update on my weekly vids, and yeah, just a bit of context to go with them if you're not already familiar with them, and look at tonight's title, of course, is immi-GREATS, because I'm not sure if anyone has noticed how heavily, or I mean, how much emotions about migrants are being sort of put out there, as it were. They would very much like you to be on one side of the fence or another on this one. We looked a couple of streams ago, we looked at photos of a demonstration that took place on a Saturday, of course, in Newquay about immigrants, and now supposedly Gary Lineker's made some tweets just to make sure we're all considering that. And right, apparently, Gary Lineker sparked outrage on Twitter when he compared the government's new migration policy to the tactics of Nazi Germany. Again, Nazi Germany was something we looked at on my Sunday stream, where we suggested the rounding up of people and sending them to another location, and putting them up in temporary accommodation whilst waiting for that particular move to, I think originally it was arranged to be not the Galapagos, wherever it was another island. I nearly said Guantanamo, but they ended up sending them to Israel, so things changed. But yeah, anyway, but Gary Lineker has mentioned it after retweeting a video from the Home Office. I bet that was a crap video. I hope you never see me retweet a Home Office video. If you do, I'm scraping the barrel. Even to watch, well, yeah, I'll always share my own take on the BBC's presentation. I'll never directly just give you the BBC's presentation. There is no inflow, according to Gary. We take far fewer refugees than other major European countries. Wonderful. He continued, this is just an immeasurably cruel policy directed at the most vulnerable people in language that is not dissimilar to that used by Germany in the 30s. And I'm out of order, sick. Yes, Gary is suggesting you take one side of the fence or another. You either react to him with outrage that he's denying a problem, or you react to him like some kind of hero because he's got the guts to say it, or some rubbish like that. It's emotional encouragement. I'm not sure what this question time thing is about. I just see the word predatory trans, so I am kind of curious to watch it. India Willoughby on women's only space. Again, suggesting that migrants or, you know, people who aren't English aren't somehow a potential threat to people, that you have to have women's only spaces. The massive problem with a women's only space, you think how many people now identify as women. But anyway, and that's where something along the lines, it looks like that's what they're talking about. Having just said I'll never share a BBC video, I am curious to hear what she's saying. Okay, but we're doing it. I'm not sharing it to my Twitter account like Gary Lineker, at least. Right, before we watch this video, I will say, have a quick look at the chat just to keep up. The other countries do not give them money and accommodation. No, and no, I'm personally, I'm not got a, I've never seen huge amounts of foreign people, as it were. I mean, yeah, we've got people from all over the world in this country. It's nothing unusual, has been the case. So yeah, people are definitely allowed to live, to move to this country. Is that a bad thing? Well, considering we are, as far as we know, free to go and move to any other country we choose to. Well, of course, there's, you know, immigration is one thing and another, and of course that's what this whole argument comes down to. I'm almost feeling, yeah, should we hear about a question time? Question about women's only spaces and see whether they bring up the possibility of transgenders. Right, I'll just hush me mouth for 1 minute.
Female spaces.
I missed the beginning.
We don't allow men into female spaces for good reason. There are good men and there are predatory men. We should not allow trans into female spaces.
So you're classing trans
there are
women
good
as
trans and there are predatory trans.
Ouch, what a painful thing. What did she say? You're considering trans women as men? Yeah, they are, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I wonder why this person would have a problem with that. Nothing slightly out of the ordinary about whoever this is. They're a good trans and
Trans and there are predatory trans, and that's a fact. Women have to be safe. Women and children have to be safe.
I bet it will turn out that woman's probably some lunatic that goes... anyway, no, I won't offer that suggestion. I just thought it'd be quite ironic if she was someone that actually attacked women and children in like women's toilets or something, and she doesn't want men coming in. But anyway, yeah. Obviously, right, let's carry on. Did she make a good point?
So, for example, a transgender woman who has lived as a woman for many years, who may have had surgery, for example.
Ouch, that's all I can say there. Oh, I suppose it could, if they're referring to someone who's had their their penis reshaped, my goodness, what's wrong with people? Honestly, do you know the torture these people put themselves through in the name of their identity? If you want to follow their logic that it doesn't, that the body you're born into doesn't matter, then why would you ever go to the trouble of, remodeling yourself, you could call it? It's beyond me. Right. Let's see. Nathan says women are all saints. There are no evil women. Exactly. We've got the likes of... Yeah, well, of course, women can be just as psychotic and dangerous as men. No doubt about that. Right.
To all intents, as far as anyone considers herself a woman and looks like a woman, she shouldn't be allowed in a women's only space. Is that what
How
you're
do
saying?
you know? There's nothing on their head to say whether they're predatory.
Do you know what? I do. In my local town centre, there is someone, and they it's a man dressing up as a woman, and whatever, if that's what they want to do, that's up to them. I did once, I remember I once mentioned that I was in a pub where they ended up doing a gay pride after party, and I suddenly got myself out of there. I had visions of like angels coming along, painting ink marks on the foreheads of people that were sighing about the horror, and I just thought, if I'm in this pub and the man with the angel with the ink comes along, I shouldn't be here. I should be sighing at this. I got myself out of there. Anyway, we were drinking in there one day, and this person comes and has a conversation with us and told us they lost their voluntary job. They were volunteering in a charity shop due to something that happened in the women's toilets, and they got very they were very reluctant to tell us. Well, they were kind of wanting to tell us, but then it eventually came out they pulled a face at some children in the toilets, and the mum saw it and didn't like it, and they had to have a meeting, and they ended up storming out, and they used their dead name. I think they told us when they addressed him, and he turned around and said, "That's my dead name." Some rubbish. You want to drink in? Well, if you want to hear that guy's conversation, take on things, I suggest you get yourself to the pub where they have gay pride after parties. Just go to any one of them. I'm sure there'll be someone in there with a similar story. Because for me, right, I don't know if you remember it was an ITV comedy called The New Statesman. Now, in the first series, there was a politician that had done some, I'm not sure, they wanted to get away, and they were trying to hide away from some horrible, I guess, say if it turned out, like, it became common knowledge that some poison that some government minister had thoroughly pushed on the public, and they realised and they found out, they did it for profit, they were paid to encourage it, and they just wanted to go and change, and they went underground and started living in it was either an abandoned bomb shelter, or it was a disused railway station, and the character of the sleazy Conservative MP came and visited them, and they gradually, throughout the series, started looking more and more like turning into a woman, until at the end of the series, I think they go out and get another job as they become another politician after this disgusting, whatever it was and that's, for me, anytime I see someone who's drastically trying to change their appearance, it does ultimately put a bit of suspicion in me. It's like, what are they trying to hide their real identity for? Is this someone that once committed a horrific crime and they no longer want people, who knows? Nathan Oakley mentions Rick Mail. Of course, Rick Mail did another series called Believe Nothing, and he was also involved in a couple of high-profile incidents which made it to mainstream before his passing. This is the sort of stuff I remember watching just before the automatically trusted newsreader would spew their crap. It would be like Rick Mail comedies would be on, and they were pretty crazy. But Midnight says Nathan is the GOAT of Flat Earth. Absolutely, couldn't agree more. It's not a subject I've ever covered, because when you've got as many people doing it as well as people like Nathan, obviously, there's Russian vids, Taboo Conspiracy, there's so many people doing wonderful flat earth videos and covering that subject, that it's no I got nothing better to add, other than actually the use of particular monuments going through parts of the country and the world. But that's something for another day. Basically my earlier YouTube channel was called Obby Lines, and it was based on the obelisk lines, and this was lines that you could identify cutting across the country, halfway through England, made up of monuments, all starting and ending in particular parks. And it was deliberately, you know, mapped out in such a way. And it turned out they're used for surveying as much as anything. So yeah, I fully agree. I would recommend anyone check out Nathan's stream on a weekdays. Yeah, and obviously has made a massive contribution to this channel, so I certainly have no problem. Yeah, I will certainly leave a link to Nathan's channel in the chat, as I have done. Let's see, are we still talking about women's only spaces? Let's see. Right. Also, Midnight says it's mad. Immigrant got 24 months for trying to burn down a council office. Yeah, that rings a bell actually. What was it? No, I don't want to say it was an immigrant that killed DMP, because I don't think it was. But there was what was his name? David Amos, and he was killed by a crazy constituent. But I'm not sure if that happened to be... Yeah, there's plenty of stories, be them true or not, or maybe they just highlight this. There was one I came across very recently, actually. What was it? A guy had 22 convictions over 3 offences. Let's see if I can... 22 driving offences. Yeah, some of these news stories are... They deliberately get in. I don't know if this is a immigrant. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up being. And it's a... Right. Often I mention getting their numbers in, which is a reference to numerology, and it is a way that they deliberately place in these news articles and stories and every piece of footage there will be like particular numbers which seem to, well, I heard it called the hoax code, and I kind of like that one. Anyway, this one has it in droves. A laundry delivery driver could face a whopping 81 penalty points after being caught speeding 22 times in just 3 weeks. They've got a nice 223 in there. Let's see if any others come up. He has admitted committing the offence on a 30-mile stretch on the A40, which would be 14. Yeah. A temporary restriction of 30 miles per hour. I mean, what sort of news story is this? It was in a 30 zone due to roadworks. And McPherson's lawyer pointed out that he already has 7 points on his license. Okay, I guess that guy's going to be catching the bus for a while. Let's see, perhaps he kept it. Okay, it put him in exceptional hardship. Anyway, just another coded news story I came across. I'm not sure what it was I saw in the chat that reminded me of that. But... let's see. Yeah, Jeff Gashead has mentioned Flat Earth debate. Let's find it then, as it's come up a couple of times. If I go to subscriptions, I'm sure I'll find the stream. Here's one. This is okay, this is obviously an advert, but yeah, here's a link to... well, I'm too far zoomed in. Yeah, if anyone wants a link, I don't need to put it in the live chat because I guess you've all kind of got it anyway, but yeah, I'll certainly put a link to this in the description of the video for anyone viewing without the option to have a look in the live chat. Right, definitely worth checking out. It's on weekdays on Nathan Oakley's channel, but I've zoomed in too much to be able to even see anything now. Goodness, what am I doing? I haven't zoomed in at all. Right. Okay, here's the channel. Yeah, I'll put a link to that in the description. Okay, what? Midnight says Nathan uses his words instead of photos and videos to destroy the globe. I wouldn't disagree. And the fact that it's open to anyone coming on Discord. I have used Discord in the past. I'm not massively active on there though, but I have come in. I came in when you were using that other software. I can't remember what it's called now. Not Discord, it was the other one. And I tuned in a couple of times, but yeah, I've never spoke on there, but maybe one day. If I've ever got anything of relevance I could add. Right. Okay, we've got about... We're heading into the last quarter of the stream. So I'm going to go on to the final subject. Well, not necessarily the final subject. Did I wrap up Fiona Bruce? And we kind of got segued off and looking at a video about trans men, trans women in safe spaces or whatever they call them. Crazy places though. Well, not really. Yeah, Prince Harry has been selling some product. He's trying to... Let's see. He has put his face to a promotion. I haven't seen the video that goes with this, but maybe we'll have a look for it tonight, because I think there's something very suspect about Harry in this. It's typical of every time these people appear on TV. Right, I'm not sure. I want to take a closer look at the neck, because it sort of looks a bit weird to me. That's why I would like to see the actual video. It almost looks like he's got creases going down there, as if it's a jumper he's got on. Not a jumper, almost like a pullover, or some sort of silicone mask, I guess you could say. Of course, we assume that these people actually turn up to these interviews, and when they give speeches, such as Harry gave for Better Up. See, I don't even know what Better Up is, but it's some product that Harry is now promoting, and they're very open about it in this article. Prince Harry appeared alongside Better Up CEO Alex so-and-so for the live event that was held in San Fran shortly after 1 AM UK time. This is such a big deal that Harry went on American TV by the look of it. Or he did something in America, a live event. So big that they have to have body language experts. And again, they get their numbers in a second. Body language expert Judy James, there you go again with JJ, which must be what, 7'7", is it? Sorry, well, one, yeah. Right, looking at a couple of clips, they noticed a more playful side to Harry. When most people go on and promote a product, or whatever Better Up is, which we'll try and find out by the end of this article, then... Right. The body language expert said that Harry seems to want to provide a visual and verbal contrast from the rather slick style of the host. So they're saying Harry's trying to be more joking, aiming more for an appearance. Right. He even thumbs through his cue cards. So here is Harry really talking from the heart as he reads everything off a cue card. I'm surprised they went cheap and gave him cue cards and didn't actually give him a screen that he's supposed to read directly from, which is what he normally does, as we saw at the New Child's. Something else I have covered in a video. Yeah, well, they've either dressed someone up to look and talk like Harry, or they sent the real one, which I find hard to believe. But apparently he seems to be, right, yeah, here we go. He seems to be driving it from a sales pitch format, which is what it is, to something more authentic looking. Yeah, the purpose of Harry is to make sales pitches look authentic. I guess that's probably the role of all the royal family. Make the... Oh, hope that's not playing. No. Yeah, is to make the theatrical look legit, but they are theatre from start to finish. Right, when he does speak, he adopts his signature expressive, over-congruent hand gestures to make his point, like a politician then, using clutching and circling gestures. Again, promotion for his book. Every week we seem to be covering stories that is just promoting this book. Right. Of course, one of Harry's children got christened. So we'll have, well, do you think, we'll have a look, maybe have a look at that in a minute. Right, in terms of the moment when Harry jokingly got out of his chair, apparently Harry, being the comedic genius that he is, walked off once the CEO of this company announced that he was the perfect CIO. Any idea what CIO is? Chief Information Officer, I'm guessing. I don't know, another title for him. He said, we were very clear when looking at who are luminaries, who are leaders, and who are people. Well, they're obviously not talking about Prince Harry, because he called his book Spare. What kind of leader would ever consider themselves a spare? Hey ho. Yeah, luminaries, good one. What a wonderful choice of words. And when we had the opportunity to meet Harry, it was a no-brainer. You mean Harry is a no-brainer. There is no brain behind Harry. It's all robotics, it's all script works. He's even pointing to his head now saying, this, nothing up there. No-brainer. Look how tiny his earlobes are. Crazy. The whole thing just looks like that whole face looks like a CGI, well, you know, either like a waxwork or a... It's great how they got a blue screen behind so they can project any image they want to, but they're not even going to waste their time doing that, because they'll just... Yeah, they're not even going to pretend they're in a studio or anything. Right. He said, I can probably finish that off. Why did I choose Better UP? Better Up. Don't know. Who are Better Up? No idea. Probably some charity, because that was all I was offered. So he made a joke about he's not very popular. He takes what he's offered. I think from my perspective, I guess my upbringing has always involved charity. Anytime you see the word charity, just think tax avoidance. And I've always seen charity as being downstream. That's sort of good without the profit, and knowing you can still create profit for food. Just because you're a charity doesn't mean you don't make a profit. It just means you've got a very generous tool where you can redistribute it, and who you redistribute it to is entirely up to you. Among the options that were put in front of me, we'll have to have a look, because I don't think they're going to go into detail. It could be anyone. Both answered audience questions. Do you think there was really an audience there? About the work of the organisation, but at one point Harry said some of the questions that were being put were not appropriate. The details are not known. Well, can we not hear them? Okay, they've cut that bit. While his wage for Better Up has never been disclosed, when he first announced working for the company, it could earn more than $3.5 million a year. There you go. So it's just a job for the guy. But if he mentions charity enough, then I'm sure we might believe some of that's going to get donated. Do we ever see any of the work he does? Right, Better Up. Let's have a look. What do you think they are? The most comprehensive coaching platform? Is this who Better Up are? Didn't. Right, I want to confirm that. Because it might not be. Right, where's the article gone? Yeah, Better Up. Let's look for this guy. Oh my goodness. Right, this was the person. I don't know if you can see him. I don't know why it's all over one side either. Right, that didn't do anything. Yeah, this is them apparently. It's a coaching platform. Your company performs when your people do. It delivers... Oh my goodness, no. I'm not here for anything. It delivers transformative coaching experiences to drive productivity, engagement and retention at scale. And then trusted by top organizations. So yeah, a very mainstream operation, you could say. As for what they really do, retention, sales and productivity. It's as clear as that. But I'm sure if you have a need for these people, then if you happen to run a charity and you need a good way of getting rid of a load of money, just tell them you've used the services of Better Up. Yeah, they charged, I don't know, £5 million, but the money it brought back, it was, it's like when charities, one big thing they do, well not all, but a good way they've got of transferring money out of the company, out of the charity, is to pay consultants on rebranding. So they very slightly change their logo, or maybe they just outright change the whole name of the organization. And every time they do that, it's a huge what they could be putting towards the actual charitable work they're supposed to be doing. They are spending it on the usual crap, as you can probably imagine. Right, Graham, good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Prince thinks he is a bit of a comic now. I think he's been told whatever they need him to be, then yes. Right, inside Lillibut's intimate christening. Do you think that means we'll see any pictures? No. Back to the usual staged rubbish. Yeah, apparently Lillibut was christened in an intimate ceremony in California. There's been speculation over whether the couple's youngest child has been baptized in secret. Right, of course not. Reflecting on being asked to be godparents in the program. Oh, who's this? In their Netflix docu-series, Tyler Perry hinted at 2 ceremonies. Okay, so it's straight from the... Got it. You've got to tune into the Netflix documentary in order to see images of this christening. And I'm sure it's... So yeah, just another plug for their products. So, right, well, we are drastically coming to an end of the stream, actually, so I didn't realise it had got to 10 already. Jeff says, even if a minor royal goes anywhere, the venue is repainted and security is high. Yeah, I've heard stories about, like, apparently the Queen had a new toilet seat built everywhere she goes. I'm not sure how true that is. But yeah, apparently wherever she goes, they they put a toilet seat in and take it away. I'm not sure. Who knows? Of course, apparently, supposedly, if you believe the hype, as it were, these people have they people to clean them up after they've used the toilet. It's freaking weird, crazy. I'll leave you with that thought. Right, let's see, did I cover... I'm going to have a look at the chat before we end. Yeah, I'll take this opportunity to thank Nathan Oakley, Midnight Scribbler, Jeff Gashead and Graham for commenting in the chat. If you want to say hello before we finish, now is the perfect time to do that. Let's see. Yeah, I will be back Sunday actually, and yeah, I'm at the moment doing a Sunday live stream and a Thursday. It's fallen on so far. Whether those days will change or become more frequent, we'll have to see. Possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. So yeah, I hope you can tune in on Sunday, and thanks to you guys in the live chat. It's always good to hear, see who I'm interacting with. Right, let's I will of course invite you before you leave, if you want to take the time and hit the thumbs up button. That would be massively appreciated. Yeah, and I'm also going to thank Linda Mac, Skeptic936 and Nathan Oakley for contributing and supporting this channel. And yeah, let you know if you want to see what I do over on Patreon. There is a link. Yeah, there's links to all the other platforms you can find me on in the description of tonight's video if you want to check them out before you leave. Yeah. Otherwise, that's pretty much where we're going to call it a night. Midnight says maybe he's wearing a green mask for green screen. Absolutely. Going back to Harry, that is totally the sort of thing they do. I mean, as hard as it might be for some people to accept that, yeah, unfortunately, green screen, CGI, overlays, After Effects, all the special effects you can imagine, 100% get used to present us with the mainstream lie. Right, and with that, we're going to leave it. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I will be back again Sunday. And I'm going to say over and out for now. Good night, take care.